is in this book, Brahmacharya and Krishna Consciousness, not out of this particular book. किसी को कुछ ऐसा एस्पेक्ट यहाँ ऑफलाइन में, ऑनलाइन का तो आई डोंट नो. आई कैन सी सम कमेंट्स व्हिच आर कमिंग. You know, this is our self excellence and so. So without wasting time, अभी 1 minute और है, so at least we can discuss something fruitful. Let me go through this एक बार कि हमारे पास है क्या क्या. Remaining benefits. So let us discuss about this aspect on, you know, why there are so many rules and regulations, right? फिर उसके बाद we can take some more topic कि usually क्या होता है in the outside world we see people, you know, who say that you can go on living your own life and then practice bhakti also. Why there are so many rules and regulation? And even when we start practicing, when we are kind of, you know, in the very initial stage, sometimes we may also come to question, because that's the conditioning, right? कि हम लोग सोचते हैं कि हमने तो इससे पहले घर पे सिर्फ अगरबत्ती दिखा दी, थोड़ा दिया लगा दिया, तो वो भी तो भगवान एक्सेप्ट कर रहे हैं. बट देन अगेन इतना सारा रूल रेगुलेशन क्यों के लिए आपको ड्रेस करना है एक पर्टिकुलर वे में, इतने सारे फेस्टिवल्स है, देन यू आर when you come here you are told that, you know, actually service is the most important thing. और आपको सर्विसेज करने के लिए भी बोलते हैं ना एक दायरे बताए जाते हैं कि आपको यही करना है, ये करना है. You can't do things on your own. So let us first discuss on this, you know, why there are so many rules and regulations. And this is on page number 22, right, from the book. So I'll start reading on this. All the devotees, especially brahmacharis and sannyasis, have to follow a set of rules and regulations that will surprise a materialist. Rising before 4 a.m., attending services, bowing down before the deities, and so on throughout the day. It's brainwashing. The anti-cultists scream for weak-minded morons only. So this was the propaganda, you know, that if you all see the early days of ISKCON, the pre-days when it was kind of being established, so there are still interviews are present there, in which you can see there are so many people from different organizations which are, you know, coming on TV shows, and how they are trying to what we can say is defame the movement, the ISKCON movement, which was founded and flourishing at that point of time. So in one of those interviews, you know, there's a person who's saying that when these people, they make them rise early and everything, they're not, you know, they don't get sufficient sleep, so it becomes really easy to manipulate them. So that is why they have this whole schedule कि देखिए आप उनको, they wake them up and then उनको एक particular kind of ही menu दिया जाता है जिसके अंदर ये सारी चीजें नहीं होती हैं. So that is kind of whole propaganda. उसको बहुत अच्छा scientifically उन्होंने present किया कि like how this particular movement is brainwashing people. Actually, you know, at that point of time, the 4 regulative principles: no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit sex. So ये सारी चीजें हैं. And even you can find, you know, one of the videos of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj with her TV report, a very famous one, in which, you know, there's this question and series, barrage of questions which he shoots to Maharaj that, you know, you people are actually not contributing to the society, you're just taking from the society, you're not doing any welfare for the people and everything. And Maharaj smashes very hard. जो भी responses हैं महाराज के आप लोग देख सकते हैं, very humbly yet very powerfully. That's it. So this is how a sadhu is, you know. When we practice, our practice is generally reflected in our character and behavior, right? If you're doing something which is good, it is reflected even on bodily platform. You may go outside, even temple, and see people. Those who are not actually following the 4 regulative principles, mostly they are the 4 basic pillars, na? 4 minimum basic requirements to live in this Kali Yuga. Even like when I can say we are outside, तो ये 4 चीजें तो ऐसे लगती थी ये नहीं किया आपने, then you are someone who's outside of this planet, you're an alien. No meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication and no illicit sex. ये चार चीज तो आपको करनी है. आपके फ्रेंड सर्कल में अगर आप एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं होंगे if you're not doing, because most of the people are actually through and through in this only. They think this is the goal of life. This is the goal, right? So this is what is discussed over here. That what they say, that this is for weak-minded people. That is why they are kind of very much encouraged to do this. Those who are weak-minded, वो लोग यही करते हैं. Now we'll read ahead. It's a fact. Our minds are weak before Maya, and following the rules and regulations of Krishna consciousness protects us from her onslaught. So this is how what we call the real practicality. Shastras, Prabhupada said that we are not some sentimental people who are coming together. Our whole philosophy or this religion is scientific religion of which we have got proof. So even these people or anti-cultists, they are screaming what? That this particular thing is for weak-minded people. And here Maharaj is writing, that actually, this is for weak-minded people. This particular process is for weak-minded people because every one of us is weak-minded. Right? So by following this process, we can actually strengthen it and protect it from the onslaught of Maya when we follow the rules and regulation. So very first thing, when you see an intelligent person is one, when he sees the symptoms of a disease in his body, he kind of grasps it and he takes an early, what we can say, approach, goes to the doctor, says, I'm having these symptoms, can you cure me? Right? So you people who are attending, who are coming for classes in the temple, any of the classes, they have actually recognized, there's something wrong with us, the way we are living, the way we are, in the society, whatever ideologies are being put in. So comparatively, we need some solution, right? So you all would have explored many things, been to different friend circles, joined different communication groups, tried some club activities in your schools and colleges, right? Tried to solve it through the methods which were shown to you by other people. But then when we come here and when we see that, there are devotees, okay, and just basically by following the simple processes, how everything in my life, everything which was noted, the knots are getting solved one by one. The more we advance, the more we get association of devotees, the more we visit holy places, dhams, the more we chant at these places, the more we do services, especially when we do services, then Krishna actually, what we can say, becomes partial. At that point of time, Krishna starts becoming partial and he favors you more than anyone else. Okay? Anyone has experienced here who is sitting? जब भी आप सेवा करते हैं कुछ, तब भगवान की कृपा पता चलती है. बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन अगर जा रहे हैं आप, तो ऐसे तो लगता है माइंड तो हमारे साथ खेलता रहता है. हाँ, बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ही तो बाहर जाके कर लेंगे. क्या करना है? बस लोगों को बुक देनी है, सामने वाले पैसे दे देगा, जेब में रखना है, स्कोर अनाउंस हो जाएगा. But when you go outside, so different we get responses. Some people say you're so young, better you get a job and work. What you're doing, the salesman thing. Some people say I don't have time, but they have time to argue. उतने में 10 पेज पढ़ लेते instead of Then some people say संविधान बांटो. ये क्या कर रहे हो? Distribute constitution, right? And then many various responses you will get. They say, some people say, some teachers or professors, they say instead of giving kids this, you give kids books which are kind of helpful for the preparation of science olympiads, this olympiad, that olympiad, ये सब क्या दे रहे हैं, right? So you get different responses. You come to know. But when you struggle in the midst of it, एक ना कोई ऐसा inspired soul आएगा जो आपसे शायद से सारी books ले ले. Even there are devotees who have put their testimonies on YouTube of their glorious adventures of book distribution, right? So even when we go out, we can read them. Even I myself am very hesitant to go out and give books. But I was in New Bhakta and we are supposed to go for bus party. आपका वो curriculum का part है कि आपको करना ही है, वो जाना है. So It was the time when I sat in the bus. So a bus goes through Panvel as a Maharashtra internal 1 month we are out from the temple, and then in Maharashtra we go and distribute to different places, locations, marketplaces as well. So we were just crossing and we were वो खारघर का जंक्शन है ना, द हाईवे कम्स, तो मैं उसमें बैठा था एंड मेरी नजर बाहर तो थी बट मैं राइट हैंड साइड पे जो कार्स वापस जा रही थी मैं उनको भी देख रहा था. बोला मैं वहां पे क्या कर पाऊंगा, एक काम करता हूँ खारघर पे उतर के रिटर्न आ जाता हूँ टेम्पल. यू नो आई एम नॉट कंफर्टेबल विद दिस बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन. जोश जोश में आ तो गया बट मुझसे होगा कि नहीं होगा पता नहीं. बट देन सडनली यू नो कृष्णा he gives remembrance and forgetfulness. So then I remembered, you know, why did I join the ashram then? So that was the first time, and Krishna put it, you know, why did you join? So at that point of time, it was all about, you know, I'll get to communicate with people instead of being on machine for 8 hours. Right? 8-9 hours हम लोग तो machine के साथ ही interact करते हैं ना, हम लोग job करते हैं, study करते हैं, तो कोई आज की डेट में online ही हो गया है mostly. So for me, I took all of these aspects of, we can say, of a Krishna conscious life, which Prabhupada has so, you know, worked so hard and given it to us, made it so easy for us, that just by distributing books we get mercy. Right? That was the whole thing which was always given to, we can say, mostly हमारे सारे आचार्यों को आप देखोगे तो उनको यही इंस्ट्रक्शन मिला था. चैतन्य महाप्रभु told, you know, the Goswamis to discover the places, write books about Dham. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, you know, he said to Srila Prabhupada that, you know, whenever you get money, you print books. You write book and print books. So what's the difficulty, you know? During those time when जब literature, even Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur जी के time पे भी आप देखेंगे, the struggle was such, he had to spend months just to get one copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita. And that is also different thing. जब रूप गोस्वामी और ये लोगों को बोला था to distribute literature, या उनके बाद भी जो आचार्य आए थे, so उस टाइम पे literature distribution was not so easy कि आपको आपने ऑर्डर दे दिया फोन करके गोडाउन में, बीबीडी गोडाउन में प्रोजी इतनी बुक्स चाहिए, टाइम पे पहुंच गए, एक कार्टन उठा लिया और फिर बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर दिया. that is how it works for us, right? हम लोग में से जितने लोगों ने बुक्स ऑर्डर की होगी कभी, तो वहां पे क्या करना पड़ता था, you will get one sample copy, right? One sample copy you will get, और उसको आपको हाथ से लिखना होता था. वो सारी चीजें on palm leaves you had to write. फिर वो सारी चीजें कॉपी करने के बाद you will have to copy it for so many times, और फिर उसको हैंड टू हैंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करना. मतलब you are publisher also of the same book. आपको खुद पब्लिश करना है. हैंड रिटन नोट्स बोलते हैं ना, वो भी कलरिंग के जेरोक्स होते हैं आजकल जो प्रोवाइड करते हैं हैंड रिटन नोट्स भी. बट आपको इतनी मेहनत करनी पड़ती थी, क्यों? ताकि आप डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर पाओ. सो प्रभुपाद हैज मेड इट सो इजी, यू नो. उसका प्रेजेंटेशन इतना अच्छा बुक्स का. कुछ लोग तो बुक्स देखते ही ले लेते हैं, they just see how good the quality is and everything. So I thought, you know, these were the aspects that brought me to Krishna consciousness, right? So why am I trying to turn my back? It was all Krishna and devotees who inspired me to go out, and that was wonderful experience, you know. Then we'll kind of, that was the time, you know, when our faith strengthens. हमको लगेगा अरे यार यहाँ तो नहीं होगा, शक्ल देख करके कभी कभार हम लोग बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन करते हैं, फेस वैल्यू पे हम लोग बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करते हैं. ये थोड़ा अमीर लग रहा है, इसके पास आईफोन है, शायद से ले लेगा. डोनेशन भी ऐसे लोग कलेक्ट करते हैं, बट यू डोंट नो. लाइक I'll just share on this particular. So we just left from Parvani. No, there's one place नासिक या एक तालुका था, तो हम लोग वहाँ डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर रहे थे. तो वो तालुका में हम लोग गए, बुक स्टोर्स पे कर लिया. Then we were supposed to change route. एक डे में there are 2 stops, right? So first when you go, night में you take prasadam, then you sleep at a particular place, camp लगाते जो भी nearby temple होता है, devotees sleep there in bus party, and then morning when you take bath, wash your clothes and everything, take prasadam, then we go out. So the first trip is as soon as we go out, right? So हम लोग पहुंचते 10-12 बजे, 12 to 4 एक spot पे हम लोग will distribute book. फिर थोड़ा चलेंगे, then 6 to 8 या 9 ऐसे करके कुछ, तो we distribute books like that, like 10 to 2, फिर बीच में थोड़ा 4 to 8 ऐसा रहता है. So first stop पे we did थोड़ा तालुका में जाकर के ये सब जगह. Then second stop पे ऐसा हुआ कि वहाँ पे and there were shops, ये सारी चीजें सब बड़े बड़े शॉप्स में जा रहे थे. तो ऐसा होता है devotees they get out, so they take the directions. जहाँ को जो पहले दो लोग निकल गए उनके पास सबसे ज्यादा चॉइस होती है, बिकॉज उसको तिलक लगाने में टाइम लगता है, स्ट्रेट तिलक होना चाहिए, सब होना चाहिए. तो सबसे लास्ट मैं रहता था. अब मैं निकलने के बाद जिस डायरेक्शन में देख रहा हूँ वहां डिवोटीज मेरे को बुक बैग के साथ दिख रहे हैं. तो मैंने बोला ठीक है अभी देखते हैं कहाँ जाना है. मैं स्ट्रेट वहां पे सब्जी मंडी थी, जो वेजिटेबल स्टॉल्स होती है ना बेसिकली. मैं वहां गया. अब मैं सोच रहा हूँ यहाँ तो कोई लेगा नहीं. तो जेरोक्स शॉप्स थी, ये सारी शॉप, उस पर ट्राई किया. कुछ हुआ, कुछ नहीं. एंड यू नो आई हैड Kanishpro was ahead of me. Kanishpro was distributing books. He's a really good book distributor by the way. So I went inside and I tried दो तीन vegetable vendors के साथ में. So some were not capable, but or some were not willing to take, but they were telling me, you know, you go to this particular person, he'll definitely take it. So I went, और उतने में क्या हुआ ना, there was a person, उसका छोटा सा, उसने एक दो वेजिटेबल रखा था कुछ, you know, sitting down ऐसे प्लास्टिक लगा करके नीचे बैठा हुआ था. बाकी सबके पास थैला होता है ना, वो नीचे बैठा हुआ है एक इतनी सी स्पेस में, जितना इस टेबल का से ये वाला पोर्शन, इतने में बैठा हुआ है. वो ऐसे देख रहा था. So whenever a person sees the book, even by seeing it, get purified. You know, that is the beauty of book distribution. कि भले आप वो बुक लेना, but एक बार ग्रंथ का हो गया ना, that means Krishna is already merciful, right? So मैंने बोला ये फिलोसफी थी, पता नहीं, ये लीजिए बुक्स देखिए. वैसे करते करते उसको छोटी बुक दी मैंने. तो बोला नहीं वो बड़ी वाली दिखाइए थोड़ा, भगवद गीता तो है मेरे पास. फिर देन ही आस्क्ड फर्स्ट काइंड ऑफ भागवतम. तो मेरे मन में तो ऐसा है ये मेरा समय बर्बाद कर रहा है, ये लेने तो वाला है नहीं, भागवतम महंगी है. So उन्होंने पूछा इसमें क्या है. So I explained in 15 minutes कि इसमें ये है. Then he took one Bhagavad Gita, one Krishna book, one Bhagavatam पूरा सेट, तीन का. और वो नीचे बैठा हुआ व्यक्ति जिसने पूरी बुक्स ले ली. And then Kanishpro is running and coming, and you know I thought he'll be shocked to hear that. But then you know, थोड़ा प्राइड आ जाता ना, मैंने बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूट किया. और क्या हो गया प्रभु? तो प्रभु जी मेरे को जल्दी आना है कहीं. तो आप क्या कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे? मैंने बोला मुझे अभी जस्ट एक जन ने बुक लिया. तो हाँ प्रभु बहुत अच्छा. Then he says what, you know, that you know I got an order of one whole set of Srimad Bhagavatam. मैं एक कैंटो दे करके, दो बुक्स दे करके I was happy और थोड़ा प्राइड आ गया था. So this is how Krishna shatters our pride. Your सामने वाला devotee is rushing to get one whole set of Srimad Bhagavatam, right? So this is how merciful the Lord is, you know. And then I thought, what? Let me go to that side. वहाँ पे शायद से अच्छा distribute हो रहा है. So I completed year, went there, but no luck, no luck. वही एक last. So this is one of the experiences, you know, how we can say that, you know, the Krishna consciousness protects us from the onslaught of Maya, being in pride, illusion, Kama, Krodha, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsarya. The what? Our enemies, right? Not good for advancement of devotional service. So this is how it protects. One of my personal realization. I mean, we'll continue to read. The Bhagavad Gita 2.64 describes that by following the regulative principles of freedom, one can control his senses and obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. Beginners in Krishna consciousness may have apprehensions about so many restrictions. Such neophytes need not to be forced to follow all these subsidiary rules, but may be requested to simply chant, dance, take prasad. That is what, you know, we may think that मंदिर आने के बाद ऐसा लगता है जब हम लोग सुनते हैं what is Kanishta, what is Madhyama, what is Uttama. इनिशियली तो मध्यमा लगता ही नहीं हमको, हम सब उत्तम अधिकारी लगते हैं. बिकॉज उत्तम अधिकारी का सिम्टम इज व्हाट? ही सीज एवरीवन एज अ डिवोटी, राइट? बट देन व्हेन वी आर इन एसोसिएशन विद एक्चुअल डिवोटीज, वी कम टू नो हाउ मच, यू नो, हाउ फार द रोड इज दैट वी हैव टू ट्रैवल. तो ऐसे ही होता है. आई यूज्ड टू थिंक, यू नो, कि आई रीड न्यू भक्ता में, आई वाज रीडिंग रियली गुड, बहुत अच्छा शास्त्र पढ़ता था. एंड जब जैसे जैसे ज्वाइन किया, सो आई थॉट कि ये अभी 6 महीने में आई बिकम प्योर डिवोटी, जो शेड्यूल में फॉलो कर रहा हूँ, क्योंकि प्योर डिवोटी का लक्षण क्या है? इज अव्यर्थ कालत्वम, डजंट वेस्ट एनी टाइम, he has too much interest in the scriptures, he loves doing service. तो ये पहले एक हफ्ते की बात चल रही है फर्स्ट। फिर उसके बाद जब सेवा टोल लेने लगे बॉडी पे, डीटी बैकअप है, पॉलिशिंग सर्विसेज है, फेस्टिवल सर्विसेज है, ग्रूमिंग है, सोने के लिए सुबह में सिर्फ 1 घंटा, दैट वाज आल्सो लग्जरी फॉर मी, एट वर्क प्लेस वी डोंट गेट टू स्लीप आल्सो, राइट? आप काम ही करते हो 9 घंटे। तो धीरे धीरे क्या होता है, कृष्णा स्टार्ट्स गिविंग यू द रियल थिंग, जैसे फ्रीबीज होती है, राइट? स्टार्टिंग में यू गेट सम फ्रीबीज, इंट्रोडक्टरी ऑफर्स होते हैं, फर्स्ट रिचार्ज पे 30% ऑफ ना, तो हमको लगता है अभी 30% है, आगे चल के 60% होगा। But Krishna consciousness, what happens is Krishna gives you any taste that how you are supposed to get the results by performing bhakti, particular anga of bhakti. So if we are chanting, तो पहले जब chant करते you get so much absorbed, Krishna reciprocates so much, आपको नाम से इतना mercy मिलता है, इतना reciprocation मिलता है, that after some time devotees come and say कि प्रभु जी जो starting में हम लोग chant करते थे ना, वैसा taste अभी नहीं मिल रहा, that is why I've reduced my chanting. Then philosophy comes that we have to become what? Naam sevi, not naam bhogi. We have to serve the holy name. We don't have to enjoy the holy name. Holy name is not for our enjoyment. We are part and parcels of the Lord, and we are meant to be enjoyed by the Lord, right? So that is the whole thing. He is showing you lost network.
Wi-Fi देखो आप connected?
But I don't know. वो देख के शायद से वो ज़्यादा देर लॉक करके restrict data. Okay. Oh. Hey, these people will carry on the Varna discussion. So that is the whole thing, You can connect that. आप same password so उसमें भी डाल दीजिए, whatever the password is. So this is the whole thing, how Krishna reciprocates. Initially तो वो देंगे, taste मिलेगा हमको, एक बोलते हैं ना, थोड़ा सा motivation दिया जाता है किसी को कोई चीज करने के लिए, हमारे लिए साधना सिद्धि का जो स्टेज है, देयर आर 2 ways in which कृष्णा, सॉरी थोड़ा हमारा इंटरनेट इश्यू है, वी आर काइंड ऑफ, अभी मुझे लग रहा है शायद से आप सभी लोग सुन पा रहे हैं. So we were talking about how our movement is about 2 things, how devotees can see different processes, right? Bhakti yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga. So in every other processes, the majority is dependent upon one's own sadhana. He seeks perfection and he works hard, performs austerities and everything. We also do that, but not that hard, not difficult austerities, right? So sadhana says this what कि हम अपने मेहनत, but our movement is much more about कृपा सिद्ध. We are सिद्ध by mercy. Example, कोई बच्चा बहुत पढ़ रहा है, पढ़ करके he is getting good marks, he is going ahead and advancing, but we are someone who will pass with the grace marks dependent upon the teacher. This is the situation. You should never think The more one is, qualified, eligible, the more he thinks himself of as a very insignificant person who doesn't know anything. Right? There were great physicists, and one of the physicists gave this quote. The more we know about the space and universe, the more we come to know how much less we know. It's like, the more you walk down the road, the more you see, how far it is. But then again, there is this analogy, for one who's practicing this devotional life, for him, this material world is just like an ocean. This is, ocean. In Kali Yuga, this is what samsara, what we call that this is an ocean of miseries, this whole Kali Yuga. But for a person who is who has taken up to devotional service, this becomes just like water which is accumulated in a hoof of a calf, not even a cow. छोटा बछड़ा होता है ना, जब वो चलता है जमीन पे तो कुछ इंप्रेशंस बनते हैं नीचे बोलते हैं ना हम लोग, तो उसमें जितना पानी है ना डिवोटी के लिए उतना आसान हो जाता है. सोचिए अब जो बाहर है, फॉर हिम इट इज जस्ट लाइक एन ओशन. ओशन इज नेवर एंडिंग एज पर आवर पर्सपेक्टिव. इतना बड़ा होता है वो कि आप बोलोगे एक ही साथ फिर इट्स लाइक बहुत मैसिव है. वी कांट टैकल इट, वी कांट स्विम अक्रॉस द ओशन. बट लेट्स से वही सेम काव का जो काफ का हूफ प्रिंट है, उसके ने काव का हूफ प्रिंट है, उसमें वाटर एक्यूमुलेटेड है, उतना सा तकलीफ, एंड दैट इज टू mercy, through mercy. That is how we get going in a devotional service, right? So this is what we'll have to understand. That is why we don't force people. Everyone who came here in the start, we don't say na पहले दिन से 4 regulative principles लगा दो ना, प्याज लहसुन छोड़ दो, घर और नहीं जाना बिल्कुल, ब्रह्मचर्य, that's the way of life, you only live once, right? Give your life. ऐसा तो we don't. What we encourage is that you chant, take prasadam and dance, and that's it. That was my very first experience when I came to the temple, and एक point of time I took Bhagavad Gita. So in the initial days I took Bhagavad Gita, but that was packed till Bhadra Purnima. उसको ऐसा रैप करके रखा था. I was coming for classes and everything. Then Bhadra Purnima came and Sri Sattvatari too. He told me, why don't you get a set of Srimad Bhagavatam? So I told, bro, I still have Bhagavad Gita, which I have not opened, and I have yet to read Bhagavad Gita. And then how can I take this? He said, no, chalo, take it. So I said, okay, bro, I'll take it, but then, Proji, when will I read it? एक बुक पेंडिंग है, इसको कैसे पढ़ूंगा? उसको तो प्लास्टिक नहीं निकाला. I was honest with it, at least. That is what we can do with devotees, we can, हम लोग बहुत अच्छे से, we can honestly, or we can say with confidence, accept that we are weak, because we know our weaknesses will not be exploited by devotees. बाहर के वर्ल्ड में you can't express your weaknesses. ना आप अपने किसी को बोल नहीं सकते, फ्रेंड को नहीं बोल सकते, right? Devotees you can do, because devotees are what? They are actual well-wisher. Prabhupada used to write, you are ever well-wisher. That's the good point. So that is our whole to-go thing that we have to do. We can share it with devotees. So I took Srimad Bhagavatam, and then Prabhuji told me how, just getting Srimad Bhagavatam is what? Bringing Krishna into your house. Because Krishna has come in form of Srimad Bhagavatam, this material world, right? And I gave there were many concerns which I was having at that point of time, that in my home, Prabhuji, they cook meat, they cook non-veg and everything. How can I keep Krishna in such a home where in all these things are going on? Prabhuji said, once you bring Krishna, everything else will happen. You just need to keep him in your house. That's the whole point. Then, you won't believe, I took the whole set of Srimad Bhagavatam with the same faith that Prabhuji gave, kind of. I started reading Bhagavad Gita. Over the period of time, there was no cooking of meat in my house. They were not cooking any meat. So even now, when I came out, I don't know about now what happened since I joined the ashram. But everything reduced very drastically. That is how you can see, how the instructions of a Vaishnava are so important. They act, रामबाण बोलते हैं ना हम लोग, will act directly. There is no point in stressing, कि ये होगा नहीं होगा, डाउट करने का उसमें कोई यही नहीं, प्रोबेबिलिटी नहीं है उसकी कि ये होगा या नहीं होगा. It will happen because Krishna is obliged to turn the words of Vaishnava into truth. Whatever a Vaishnava says, Krishna becomes obliged to do that. That is what we can see, Right? You see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, they told that this moment, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur especially, he said people from Germany, people from America, one day come to in this Navadvip Dham. It was very remote at that, even at that point of time, In ancient ages, it was considered a seat of scholarly people, scholarly religious people who used to come there and debate and everything. But उसके बाद क्या हुआ? No one ever knew, what is Navadvip. Even when we all came in Krishna consciousness, before that we never knew what is Mayapur, what is Navadvip. ये सब क्या जगह है? नहीं पता था. Mostly मुझको तो नहीं पता था. I never knew. But then he predicted, that these German people will come and they will chant and dance enthusiastically, singing Hare Krishna Maha. That's what is happening now. They saw it. They told something that is happening. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his dream, he saw that here will be a wonderful temple, Adbhuta Mandir. His vision to it. Go, so you will see from the window. I told that is what is happening. We see from our whole Vaishnava literature how what Vaishnavas say. So that is what is being said, when we get instructions, along with instruction, the Guru or senior Vaishnava impart the strength to carry out that instruction. It is just not like बाहर के world में wherein the boss says कि आप जाओ ये कर दो और आप फिर सोचो अरे मेरे पास तो ये स्किल सेट है ही नहीं तो मैं कैसे करूंगा इसको. तो spend whole night कुछ सीखने में ये करने में. You look at our movement, Srila Prabhupada practically give this movement in hands of 18-year-old kids, 19-year-old kids, youngest sannyasis 20, 21 year. हम में से तो कितने लोग 20 साल बाद आए हैं movement में. वहाँ 18 years and the instructions that they were receiving is go to this particular place, establish a temple. कहाँ रहना है, क्या खाना है, कैसे करना है. No questions asked. Full faith on Prabhupada, to establish temple, made the whole movement successful. They were just following instructions. Prabhupada gave them instructions. That's it. They had full faith on Krishna. They had full faith on Srila Prabhupada. And even when we see the memories, there is one section YouTube पे आप जाएंगे Prabhupada memories करके. So in that there are so many devotees who say what we never knew who is Krishna. Up until when we came to India, we had just heard, and Prabhupada brought us till that point. We never knew Krishna. Whom did we know? We only knew Srila Prabhupada. We had love for Srila Prabhupada, and because of that love to Srila Prabhupada, we were actually loving Krishna. It is not vice versa for them, because for them this is an alien concept. Who is Krishna? There's some boy, blackish boy, standing at the river bank, playing the flute. Gopis are becoming attracted. He's a coward. What is this thing with? वो लोग को इससे क्या लेना देना, right? But they were attracted to Srila Prabhupada. That is what is the bhajan. Krishna se tomara Krishna dite par, tomara shakati as. Amite kangal Krishna Krishna boli, dhai tava pache pache. That only thing that we can do is helplessly cry out Krishna Krishna and just keep on holding to a Vaishnava. That is how we will attain. That is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Gopi Bhartur Pade Kamalayor Das Dasanu 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 Das. That is what we have to become. You can't be in that intimate circle. Not eligible. Not eligible to be there. Even not eligible to be here. That is what the reality is. Most people term it as humility, but this is the reality. It's not humility, this is reality. That is what we have to accept. Generally, हम लोग ऐसे illusion में जाते हैं. I've become so humble, right? Become so humble. I'm accepting all these facts. But the reason you're accepting is because it's reality. That's your present condition. You don't have anything else. That's the whole point. Then sometimes when we hear, Vaishnavas talking that I've wasted my time. wasted the time of my life, you know. So for them, you know, what is wastage of time? We think, you know, we have also wasted time. So Goswamis ने भी ऐसा लिखा हुआ है अपने ग्रंथों में कि they have also wasted time. So then we also have hope. Yes, we definitely have hope. But the comparison between us and the Goswamis after reading the literatures, after reading the passages, the Vaishnava songs, is not correct. That is what I think, you know. यहाँ पे तो रूप गोस्वामी बोल रहा है मैं कितना मतलब यू नो मोहिश पापिस्ट कि मैं एक कीड़े जैसा हूँ भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर सिंग्स Lochandas Thakur sings, you know, in one of his bhajan that, you know, I'm just like a worm in the stool because I've wasted my time, you know, in this material world. I don't have, you know, any taste for your holy name, any taste for your glories, any taste for your pastimes. So I think, you know, that's the same condition. I don't also have the taste and everything. But for them, you know, what is wasting time? Even a single moment where they forget Krishna, they start condemning themselves. एक moment होता है ना एक क्षण फॉर अस इन होल डे एक क्षण में वी रिमेंबर कृष्णा एक क्षण बाकी पूरा क्षण अपने माया में रहता है कुछ और वी आर प्लानिंग और प्लॉटिंग समथिंग राइट सो लेट अस फिनिश दिस एंड देन इट्स ऑलरेडी आई गेस 5:04 हो गया also I've been getting calls and messages for other services okay so Rupa Goswami advised that if somehow or other non-devotees can be brought to Krishna consciousness, then all the rules and regulations can be introduced later. To become successful in Krishna consciousness, we must accept the devotional syllabus given by the previous acharyas. Srila Prabhupada, no one can be situated in an exalted position without having undertaken a regulative life of rules and regulations. When an aspiring devotee comes to realize this, he will happily take up the practice of Krishna consciousness strictly. Forcing austerity on new and unwilling candidates is not a good policy, especially you know all the people who are new here, जिनको प्रेम से हमने स्टार्टिंग में सीनियर्स ने बहुत प्रेम से उठाया प्रभु जी चलिए उठ जाइए 4 बज गया और फिर what happens you know when I can do it why can't this person do it because I also have that dictator mentality मैं कर सकता हूँ तो ये भी करना चाहिए so we force them you know अरे 4 बज गया जल्दी उठो मंगल आरती के लिए उठना ही है मतलब you don't need to push them बहुत ज्यादा अगर टेंपल में है तो definitely you know you'll have to come for मंगल आरती that is how we'll advance you know that is why we are coming to temple so that we can advance so you realize then एक दिन पहले आपको बता करके उनको कि प्रभु जी कल मंगल आरती आना है हमको ठीक है तो मैं आपको उठाऊंगा प्लीज गुस्सा मत होइएगा प्रेम से बता दीजिए और जो भी टेंडेंसीज है वी शुड पुट फ्रंट कि मैं थोड़ा पॉजिटिव हूं थोड़ा but if they are not doing let some other senior handle it that is what you know is written over here and over the period of time they'll gradually do it voluntarily they'll do it right so forcing austerity on new and unwilling candidates is not a good policy. For those who have submitted themselves for initiation must be serious. Otherwise, their initiation is meaningless. Srila Prabhupada, Krishna consciousness is not difficult, but determination is difficult. That determination comes by tapasya, and therefore we have rules and regulations. If you follow the rules and regulations, then you'll be determined. Otherwise, you'll be a victim of Maya. The rules and regulations are there just to keep you fixed up in your determination. But if you don't follow them, you fall down. Okay, so I guess our time is up. We have already taken 10 minutes. I was 20 minutes late, compensated for 10 minutes. And then 10 minutes is still pending, then you can ask questions. After that, I'll give that 10 minutes also. Hare Krishna. We'll end it over here because someone else needs to come for the program, right? Hare Krishna. So any questions, they can comment it to our self-excellence people. They'll let me know and you can collect your responses directly from self-excellence. Hare Krishna.